How's it going, everyone? Ahead of the state of play later today, I want to go over some last-minute rumors, expectations, and my anticipation level overall. I did a couple videos yesterday talking about the state of play and a lot about this God of War game that got leaked, and I'm a little bit surprised at how negative the reception was for this game for a variety of reasons. Now, I do want to cover that, and we'll talk about some other games we could potentially see at the event. So let's first talk about this God of War title. If you don't know, there's reportedly a God of War spin-off title, a 2.5D Metroidvania-esque game that is going to get revealed or is in development. Now, will it be at the state of play? Who knows? It could be at the event, but it's one that I think would make a lot of sense in the sense that it's a smaller scale game. We know that Santa Monica, the whole studio, is working on other projects. There's rumored to be a new IP being done by Cory Barlog, and I would imagine they've got the next iteration of God of War, the next mainline iteration of God of War in early development right now. This is being handled by a different studio and reportedly has Santa Monica supervision. Totally okay with that, you guys. I think some of these smaller scale projects are fine. Now, when you add context in the fact that so many people have wanted the God of War Greek collection, yes, that is a problem. But at this point, look, I am wanting just about anything from Sony that isn't a remaster of a PS4 game outside of Bloodborne, or it's like live service games. You give me something like this, I'm gonna latch on. My expectations are so low out of PlayStation and Sony these days that something like this I'm actually excited for, and I think this is something that gaming can use more of. A budget title, ain't no way in hell this should be $60, $70, but if it's $40, maybe they could get away with a $50 price tag. I would be hesitant at pricing at $50. We saw how Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown turned out, and there was a lot of issues with that game outside of just the price tag, but if it's a budget title and a smaller scale game, I want more of this out of gaming. I don't think every game needs to be a $200 million project that you're scratching and clawing to break even, or in a lot of cases, it literally debunks and destroys a studio, something like Callisto Protocol or Immortals of Aveum. You know, not every game needs to be massive in scale. These smaller scale games, if they're 10 to 15 hours, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, but priced accordingly, I think there's room for that, and especially if these games can be done by a smaller team, have a quicker turnaround time, I think it can add a little bit of depth to PlayStation's library, because it's not like every studio is going to be able to put out a God of War Ragnarok level game every other year. That's just not going to happen. Naughty Dog is going to have a 7-year turnaround in between games. Well, drop some games at a smaller scale. If you have to work with other studios to handle some IPs and work on some smaller games, I'm all for that. So this God of War 2.5D Metroidvania game, I'm interested to see what it could be. Hopefully we'll see an announcement of that, but we'll see on that. Obviously, one of the big games that I've been calling for, and some people I did say think it's a little bit too early, Soros getting its gameplay reveal. We know that's going to get gameplay by the end of the year. I know that game was just announced a couple of months ago, but why not follow up and just drop the gameplay? Look, as far as games that we can get gameplay of that are coming out relatively soon from the big budget Sony studios, if you want to throw Media Molecule in there, whatever Media Molecule is working on, I guess they could announce that and showcase some gameplay. Wolverine, the issue is fall of 26 is the earliest that game is coming out. That game has been announced for like 5 years or 4 years at this point. Do you really want to get a gameplay trailer and then just wait another 14 months for that game to come out, 16 months, whatever, however long it takes? I would just rather Soros getting a gameplay demo and then them saying, hey, that game is out in 8 to 9 months. I do think the difference between 8 to 9 months and 16 months is quite a bit different, quite a bit big, and I would save Wolverine for next year and do a PlayStation showcase next year and build that around Wolverine. That's how I would handle it. And then, you know, you do the big gameplay demo for Wolverine next year, and then you announce the date, and it's coming out fall of 26. That's how I personally would handle it. But, you know, I think Soros deserves shine in the sense that that should be a game an event is built around. You can't do a showcase built around Soros because it's just not at that level. We gotta elevate Soros. We gotta elevate Housemarque, and positioning it as this big gameplay demo at the end of a notable state of play, I think would do a lot for people to be like, okay, this is a game that looks cool, and Soros is a game that deserves to have its gameplay highlighted. Housemarque is a gameplay first studio. Why we're revealing gameplay-oriented studios' games with CG trailers is beyond my understanding, but
whatever the case may be, Soros is a game that I feel like deserves a lengthy gameplay demo. We've got a 40-minute state of play here. Death Stranding 2 is gonna sell itself, and it's got its own event going on. Ghost of Yotei, I don't think it needs a 10-15 minute gameplay demo at this point. Soros is a game that, whether it's at this event, whether it's at the next state of play 3 to 6 months from now, deserves a lengthy gameplay demo that'll give people an opportunity to sink their teeth into what that game is. Also, there are rumblings of the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, remake, whatever that could be. I saw some retweets going out. That is a game that I would love to see as far as FF Tactics getting another release. Obviously, Final Fantasy IX remake has been the worst kept secret in all of gaming seemingly for however many years. I feel like it's been 2 years since we've been talking about this mythical FF9 remake. Square Enix has a light palette of games coming out for the rest of 2025. Something like an FF9 remake coming out by the end of the year, that would be a huge shot in the arm to what Square is putting out. And maybe it was an instance of them wanting to wait for the Switch 2 to drop and everything like that. FF9 obviously you would think would be on the Switch 2 as well, with FF7 remake coming out on the Switch 2 here shortly, but we'll see about that. FF Tactics and FF9 are pretty notable. Resident Evil 9, that is seemingly going to be revealed this week, whether it be at this event or at the State of Play. And that's the thing. Some of this stuff can be at the State of Play. Some of this stuff can end up being at the Summer Game Fest event, and then Microsoft's going to have the Xbox Game Showcase on Sunday. That's why this is so insane that we've got 3 back-to-back major events, back-to-back-to-back major events, and all of them are going to be applicable to PlayStation owners, given that Xbox games just come to PlayStation now, which is great for you guys that only have a PlayStation. There are other announcements that I could see. Tales of has been absent for how many years now with the new mainline entry. Tales of Arise came out all the way back in 2021. It's about damn time we see the announcement of whatever the next Tales of game is, given that we've gotten 2 remasters since the release of Arise, right? 2 remasters, yeah, we got Symphonia, and we got Grace's F that came out earlier this year. I think a new mainline Tales game, we're overdue on that. There's other games like we know that are going to be at Summer Game Fest already confirmed. Dying Light the Beast, that's going to be Friday. Death Stranding 2, like I said, probably a gameplay trailer. I don't think that game needs a significant update at this point. We got the previews out a few weeks ago. No need for a lengthy gameplay demo at the State of Play. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake. That's a big one that could reemerge. Splinter Cell remake, that's another one we're hearing more and more about, and that could potentially be at the event. You know, there's games like Wu Shang Fallen Feathers, although I would say that'll be at the Microsoft event, given that that's a Game Pass title. Persona 4 remake, given that, you know, there's everything going on with the voice actors. Hollow Knight Silksong finally getting updated on SteamDB. That could make an appearance. I would say that's more of a Summer Game Fest title. That makes more sense to me, given that that is such a game tied to multi-platform, being a multi-platform release, and I believe it's on Game Pass day 1. Crimson Desert, another game I would probably say is more akin to Summer Game Fest, but that's another game I could see. BioShock 4, that's another one that's been talked about a lot, and a lot of third-party out, but I think third-party is going to come out swinging in a big way. PlayStation, for what they have on the table, look, I like the idea of the smaller scale God of War game because of what PlayStation can realistically do. Yes, would I like the Greek Saga? Absolutely. I think everybody would like that. My expectations out of PlayStation getting what I want are literally in the toilet, so I'll take what I can get out of them these days. If we get that, if we get a major first-party showcase, a Soros, a Yotei demo would be fine. It's just like, you don't really gotta sell me on Yotei. But Soros getting a gameplay demo, I think would be fantastic, and I really believe that game, and I hope that game gets the necessary spotlight. That's why I'm so big on it. That game deserves the spotlight, and it doesn't deserve to just be shoehorned into a showcase, because it would under-deliver on a showcase, because Housemarque isn't at that level from a perception standpoint. But, you know, putting them at the end of a State of Play, positioning them there after you get some quality announcements prior to that, and you get like a 6 to 8 minute demo for Soros, I think that could get people really excited. And again, I'm trying to keep my expectations in check. Some people I saw comment on the earlier video saying my expectations are too low. Guys, like, and I get it, it's different people commenting different things. Oh, you're never happy with anything, you're always just crapping on Sony. Sony deserves to get crapped on for a lot of things they do, but I also talk them up. Remember that event, the State of Play, where Stellar Blade had its big showcase? I thought that State of Play was great. I'm sorry that I'm not gonna talk up State of Plays with CG trailers being showcased and whatnot. I want gameplay. We play video games at the end of the day. If you want to do CG trailers, fine. If it's an established IP, whatever, I get that. But for new IPs and new games getting revealed that don't have much history to them, I want gameplay. That's why the Saros reveal trailer didn't do much for me, especially because it's Housemarque and they are established on their gameplay. So give me some Saros gameplay. I think that would be big, but there's a lot of things that I could see end up coming to fruition. And then, you know, you've got other stuff like Lies of P, Overture, the DLC on that. The next Tomb Raider game, I feel like that's more akin to Summer Game Fest, but this is going to be a fairly big week. Even if State of Play is, even if all 3 events are washed, if they're all 4 out of 10 events, them together in conjunction with one another, you are going to find things to be excited for. If it's not State of Play, you'll find something at Summer Game Fest, or you'll find something at Xbox Game Showcase. I'm most confident, honestly, in the Xbox Game Showcase because they got so much stuff to showcase. Show me E-Day, announce it for PS5. That's a W for this week, you guys. That's literally a W for this week. Anything after that is just gravy to me, but that'll do it for me. I know, ranted quite a lot. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. A lot to be excited for. Let me know your hopes, anticipation, expectations. Keep them in check. I feel like everything I ran through, I'm not asking for, oh my god, Uncharted 5 is here. Last of Us Part 3 is here. Oh my god, Legend of Dragoon, the remake was secretly in development. Nah, like, we can throw all that in the dumpster. Live service cooked us all, but we could still get some decent stuff. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.